up, guys? Stu here, and welcome to a new Ruddy review. Woohoo! That's right, I haven't done one of these full main reviews for quite a while on the channel. We're back, baby. And today it's getting prehistoric up in this joint, because we're talking about the new Jurassic World film, which just came out over here in the UK, and I believe comes out in like a week or two in America. Doesn't usually happen, motherfucker. So, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. It's the sequel to Jurassic World, which in itself is a kind of reboot sequel thingy for Jurassic Park. There's just too many. There's too many, guys. Too many at this point. This is the fifth one. But anyway, the first Jurassic World film, which came out in 2015, did very, very well and got a lot of people, a lot of money. So they went, let's do that again. Let's have another one. And I just thought, I don't want one. Didn't really like Jurassic World that much. I mean, I can see its merits as a big kind of shut your mind off popcorn blockbuster flick, but for me that's not really what I want from a Jurassic Park film, and I get that can sound quite annoying as a critique of things like this nowadays, because I guess it is its own new thing, but I didn't really get a huge amount of what I wanted to get from that film, and it was also undeniably an objectively stupid film. So count me out, basically. And then they were like, yeah, we'll do another one. I don't really want another one. But then they were like, we're changing director. So Colin Trevorrow did the first one, and now we've got J.A. Bayona on board, who, if you don't know who he is a really great Spanish director. He's responsible for films like The Orphanage, which is a fantastic little kind of fantasy horror gem from Spain. But he's also done a lot of English language ones like The Impossible, and most recently A Monster Calls. He's an incredibly imaginative, creative, visual storyteller, and I'm always on board with watching the way he chooses to tell his stories. He's always an interesting, unique, and exciting time seeing a Bayona film. So they get him on board, and my interest goes up a little bit, you know? Okay. Maybe I might take a little piece of that pie now. So, don't really have any expectations for this one going into it, but I'm willing to be surprised and enjoy it. You know, I'm looking to enjoy myself in this film. I don't go into any film wanting to not enjoy myself. That'd be a cruel waste of a couple of hours. But, you know, I'm hoping to enjoy what Bayona brings to the table here with this one. And how is it? After seeing it, it's a weird one, this one, for me. In many respects, it's a step in the right kind of directions for this franchise going forward. But in many other respects, I mean, it's still doing that Colin Trevorrow Jurassic World shit. It's still there. So if you haven't heard about it, the basic premise is that we have our main characters have to go back to the island for a reason, and then they need to get off the island for another reason. And then there's more of a story. Keeping it vague because I don't want to spoil anything in case you guys are very excited to check this one out. But yeah, it's essentially more of the same, which we get from every Jurassic Park film, but kind of a little bit in a different way. It's the same thing, but they've gone down a little detour path to the end. And straight out the bat, there are things I think this film does inherently better than the first Jurassic World film, and I would be lying if I said it wasn't because they got rid of Colin Trevorrow as a director. I don't like him as a director. He hasn't really done much to prove to me that he's a good director. So getting him out was the first good move from the people that wanted to put their money into this film. Getting Bayona in was a good move. And Bayona's direction, his storytelling capabilities and visual sense of themes in films really does help this film a lot. There are some great moments in there, actually. Some really beautiful, poignant moments, which I didn't expect to get in a Jurassic World film. There's some really gorgeous sort of silhouettes and very poignant moments, which really did make me feel for the dinosaurs at points. It's probably the best thing that Bayona manages to do in this film, is make you feel a little bit more for the dinosaurs, which is strange to say, and not necessarily something I think it was 100% needed, but it's there, and I'm okay with that. He did a good job there. And from that, I mean, visually, just in terms of the way this film's shot, cinematography-wise, CGI, and effects-wise, I think it's a solid film. Obviously, there's moments where you're like, that's not a real dinosaur. Because it's not a real dinosaur. And I also think that Bayona brings this atmosphere to the film which just steps it a little bit above from the first Jurassic World. Because the first Jurassic World, for me, felt in many ways just like a retread. It's like, well, we're just going around a new modern park with dinosaurs in. Oh, whoop-de-fucking-do. This is wild. Oh my god. And it has that glossy, clean feel. And I think this one has got a little bit more mood to it. Certainly with the locations that are used, particularly in the second half of this film, this kind of big mansion, this house at night with the rain. It's got these very kind of gothic elements to it, which, in my opinion, I would have liked to have seen it gone down a little bit more, but the fact that it's there in this film is seemingly enough for me, knowing where we came from with the previous installment. But it's everything else which seems to really hold this film back. And the frustrating part of this one is that it's still just as ridiculous and stupid and dumb as the first Jurassic World. And there's just certain things which I just can't get past as an audience member. And there are going to be people that watch it that are going to be able to get past that. You know, there's a suspension of disbelief. And I feel like there are certain levels that certain audience members of different types are going to get through on this one. If you're a big fan of the first Jurassic World film and you didn't really have any problems with how ridiculous it gets, you're not going to have many problems with this one either, I think. I think you're going to really, really enjoy it. But as someone that did take a lot of problem with how ridiculous and stupid the first Jurassic World was, it's a real shame to see that they haven't really seemingly learned from a lot of the stuff that they did wrong in that one. And I think that's absolutely down to the fact that they still have Colin Trevorrow on the writing team. He wrote this one with his writing partner, whose name I can't remember because I have a terrible memory. But yeah, they kept Trevorrow on in the writing department and they got rid of him directing, which is like half a good move. Just pull him out like a bad Band-Aid, just fucking rip him off. Clearly, he can't let go of a lot of the concepts he wanted to keep in from the first one, and I think that really does bring this film down. Namely, there was a huge concept in the first one, which is this idea of kind of dinosaurs being used as a weapon, weaponized dinosaurs in the army, in the military. And when that came up in the first one, you might remember from my review I did for that one, it didn't click well with me. I just find that an utterly preposterous idea. I don't understand why anyone in their right mind would be like, hey, we definitely want to have T-Rexes and Raptors. We'll just put our own chip in so that they don't turn against us and we can use them to kill other things in army and battle. No, why would anyone think like that? We don't need that, and it's obviously going to go wrong. It's just a very clear setup for people to go, oh, we're the bad guys and we want to use them as weapons. Get the fuck out of here with that. So that was in the first one, and I kind of hoped it wouldn't be in this one. Sadly, there's a point in this film where it becomes very apparent that is the main thread of this new trilogy. It's still there, it's a big part, and it still angers me and bugs me. I just find it to be such a lazy, ridiculous idea for antagonists in this film. And there's also weird elements that they try and link into this film to try and get you on board and bring new aspects to this storyline. Like there's this whole movement of people that are trying to protect these animals and dinosaurs. And I understand that as a way into this storyline and as a motivation for certain characters throughout this film. It just, there's arguably no way of dealing with that in a film that doesn't feel stupid. It almost gets there. There are some moments in this film which it does work, I think. But at the beginning, it's like, you know, like people in offices setting up campaigns to protect the dinosaurs and stuff. And you're like, really? Can't really take this seriously. I just can't take it seriously. It sucks me straight out of the film. Because all I can see when you see stuff like that in this film is fucking Colin and his buddy sat in his writing room like, this is so clever. You're not. It's stupid. But there's also certain character motivations, things that characters do which feel incredibly disingenuine. And just, unlike anything anyone would do in these situations, it's very, very strange. And there's certain plot things that happen which I still, having watched the entire film, I don't understand, and I feel like I must have missed something, right? But it doesn't make sense to me, and I'm not going to go into details on that one because I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but if you want to check out my podcast, I'll put links in the description down below. I'll go into a little bit more detail about what I'm talking about there. But there are certain things which just are ridiculous to me. So overall, it's just filled with ridiculous plot points, right? People doing weird stuff and stupid stuff. And I understand that the very premise of Jurassic Park in itself is quite ridiculous and stupid. There's a certain suspension of disbelief you have to go into any film about bringing back dinosaurs for a theme park. But it's the talent of a director that can distract audiences from those stupid things. That is the beauty of cinema, is that things are always going to be there. You're always going to be able to find things that you don't agree with in terms of story and stuff. It's just how well a director can keep you on their page. And I just don't think in any of these new Jurassic World films they've been able to do that. So Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom for me was still a very stupid, ridiculous, over-the-top, dumb action blockbuster, just like the first one. It just happens to have a better director at its helm and happens to have these moments which kind of elevate it above the first one. At this point, 2 films into this new trilogy, we're going to get a third one. I can't sit here and honestly say I'm enjoying what we're getting and feeling the need for anything that we're getting here, which is a shame. But as I said before, I didn't really have any expectations, so it certainly exceeded something there. And also, as a final note, criminally underused Jeff Goldblum. If you even have the possibility of putting Jeff Goldblum in your film, put him in every scene, and then you can do anything you want as long as Jeff's there. I'm happy. But what about you guys? Have you seen Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom yet? If you're in the UK, it's been out. I'm sure you've gone to see it. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. If you're over in the US, keep on waiting. Keep on waiting. Oh, I wish I could feel bad for you. As I said previously, I have done a podcast this week from the StuTalks Podcast, which, if you haven't checked it out, is a weekly podcast I do where I go through the biggest releases this week and also other things that are happening in the world of film for that week. I did a slightly more in-depth review of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom on there, so if you want to check out my thoughts in a little bit more detail, but kind of similar, but anyway, it's my voice and I might be annoying to you, who knows. Go check that out. The links are in the description down below. I'd love to see as many of you guys listen to that as you can. Anyway, I will see you guys soon for some more video content that I've made that's coming through this laptop screen or phone screen. I'm not going to discriminate there. Use whatever you want. Until next time, stay beautiful, mother truckers.